Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I took a very short month, I think it's been a month, a long hiatus because I needed to finish out my senior year of college. And it's done. I'm graduated. So I am filming this video today on May 5th. I graduated on May 1st. Technically, I had planned on taking this entire week off just to relax because this semester has been very hectic, but I got bored. So here I am filming a video well in advance. But I made a decision a couple of months ago on grad schools. I think I made a video earlier this semester talking about the grad school application process and that I was in the waiting period for schools to make a decision. Well, I have heard back from 7 out of the 8 schools I have applied to. About to get into that. But I wanted to discuss my graduation for a little bit. I did just graduate from college. I'm the first gen in my family. I'm the first person to graduate in my family, which is a very huge accomplishment. No one else in my family has been able to do it. My dad was raised by a single mom, and she only had one income, and he chose to go to trade school instead to become an electrician instead of going to Alabama to go to law school. Attending Alabama was my dad's dream, especially to attend law school here, and because of their income, he wasn't able to do it. So he became an electrician instead. My mom did try to go to college. She did attend college in Georgia for I think 2 years before she ended up having to drop out because she was not only taking classes full-time, but she was also working full-time, and eventually something had to give, and it was either getting an education or keeping a roof over her head and food on the table. And she chose to keep a roof over her head and food on the table. She also did not have a very good support system. In all actuality, she had no support system. So she wasn't able to finish college. And that was a big goal growing up for my mom, was to make sure that I had the support that I needed to attend college if I wanted to attend college, and that I would actually succeed. And that is exactly what happened. Her and my dad have been huge support systems, and I have relied on my mom a lot. I've actually called her every single day this semester to talk to her and to just check in with her at home, and to also just rant to her about school and to make a decision like what I'm talking about today. So like I said, I applied to 8 schools. I applied to Georgia Tech, Georgia Southern, Belmont University, American University, Northwestern University, Coastal Carolina University, Syracuse University, and Middle Tennessee State University. That was a lot of schools. I was first accepted on February 3rd to Georgia Southern University and cried tears of joy. I put this in my vlog. I have a vlog channel, by the way. All vlogs from this school year will be posted, hopefully, in its entirety this summer. I am in the process of editing them now as we speak. But Georgia Southern was the first school I was accepted to, and I cried tears of joy because honestly, because of COVID and everything, I did not think I would actually get into grad school, because this application season was atrocious. You have thousands of people who lost their jobs because of COVID, can't get another one, decide to go back to school for a little bit so they could, of course, gain an education, but also get some more time to figure stuff out because of COVID. And then you have all of my graduating class who wanted to continue their education, either because they wanted to begin with, needed to for what they want to do for their jobs, or because they just could not find a job at all. COVID changed a lot of things, and this application season was one of the hardest on record. I've heard from a lot of other grad applicants that They did not get into any of the like 20 schools that they applied to because of COVID. And audio and music, which is what I was going to, is very rare. There's not a lot of programs in the country for it, grad school wise, for what I was going for. There's plenty of performance out there, there's plenty of education out there, but there's not a lot of music technology or audio engineering programs out there. More are popping up because people are seeing a need for them and the job market is rising for them, but programs themselves are hard to come by. So I fully believed that I would not get accepted anywhere, and Georgia Southern comes along and says, here, we want to offer you a position in our cohort for this upcoming school year. And that honestly meant a lot to me, and honestly I thought I would be attending Georgia Southern for a long time. But before I get into where I wanted to go and all that, I am going to talk about my top 8 schools, since I only applied to 8, that I wanted to get, like, in order where I wanted to go before decisions were made from these schools. And that is 1, Georgia Tech, 2, Georgia Southern, 3, Belmont University, 4, Middle Tennessee State University, 5, American University, 6, Coastal Carolina, 7, Northwestern, and 8, Syracuse. Also, if you see me looking down, it's because I have my iPad and I have my list written down in front of me because it is a lot and it is a mouthful and it is hard to remember sometimes. But those were my top 8. Like I said, I was first accepted into Georgia Southern, but then I also, as time progressed, was accepted into Georgia Southern, Belmont University, American University, Syracuse University, and Coastal Carolina University. I was ultimately rejected from Georgia Tech and Northwestern. Northwestern was the first rejection that I've ever gotten from a school, and honestly I was about it. I was in the parking deck when I got the rejection, about to head into class, and I saw it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, that's nice. Didn't want to go there anyways. Like, I remember texting that to my mom. Didn't want to go there anyways. Like, it was so low on my list of schools. Like, I didn't care about it. It was one of those last minute decisions to apply because they had a program. I didn't really care. But then I did get a rejection from Georgia Tech, which was really hard. I cried a lot that day from that decision that they made. Me and my family had already been preparing for me to attend Georgia Tech in the fall. I am from Georgia, and I only live about an hour and a half-ish away from Atlanta, so we were figuring, attend Georgia Tech, live at home, commute. And like, my dad works in Atlanta, and he knows that the area that Georgia Tech is in can be a little sketchy at times, and he was worried about my safety attending Georgia Tech. But he talked to one of our neighbors, the only neighbor that we're friends with, that actually attended Georgia Tech, and he alleviated a lot of my dad's worries to the point where my dad actually approved of me to drive to Georgia Tech weekly for classes, which was a huge thing for him because he was adamant against me going to Georgia Tech just for my own safety. And like, that meant a lot for my dad to approve of me going to Georgia Tech, and I'm tearing up just thinking about it. But I was not accepted. Me and my family have come to the conclusion that it is because of COVID, because I was accepted into other top programs in the country for audio, and we believe that I did not get in because of COVID. We don't know how many people deferred their acceptance from last year because of COVID to this year, and we don't know how many positions were open because of that. Honestly, it could have only been 2 or 3, and out of thousands upon thousands of applicants, they could have only accepted 3. I don't know, but it was hard to get that no from your top school. That was really hard. But moving on, once I was able to mourn my plans and move on from that, I had to make a decision. Because I was only accepted into 5 schools, I had to make the decision. If you remember, I did mention that I did apply to Middle Tennessee State University, but that is the unknown. I have yet to receive a decision from them. I contacted them not that long ago, probably about 3 weeks at this point, and I asked for a decision because I had not received anything in the mail, have not received anything in email. I've checked my application portal, have not received anything. And at that point, I had already made my decision. So I contacted the school and I asked them, hey, what is the decision on this program that I applied to? Because I've already made my choice. You are not it. However, I would like to know from my own records. And they just told me that a decision hasn't been made yet. We're in May. So I don't know what the decision is from Middle Tennessee State. I never received anything from them. I probably won't. I'm taking it as a rejection, but I'm also rejecting them. If they accepted me, I'm rejecting them. Like, it's too late at this point, and quite honestly, I'm fed up with them not sending me out a decision. At least the other schools sent me a decision. They have not. So, if you are thinking of applying to Middle Tennessee State for grad school, I highly suggest not, because you won't get a decision. Okay? Okay. Moving on. My top 5 were all of the ones that I got accepted into, but I put them in a certain order. So, Georgia Southern, Belmont, American, Syracuse, and Coastal Carolina. It was really easy for me to knock out Coastal Carolina from my options because their system is not user-friendly whatsoever, and it was a pain in the butt to even work it. And they also did not want to send me my login information for said program. So I emailed them constantly for about a month before they responded to me, and the only reason why they responded to me with my login information was because I threatened to attend a different school. No joke. So basically I saw that they had accepted me and I said no, like right then and there. So Coastal Carolina, out of the picture. Sorry. The next one that I said no to, that I was kind of sad about, but also it's out of respect, is Syracuse University. They are an amazing school, an amazing program that is well known in the industry. However, it's just too far away from home and just too far away for me to comfortably move there and live there. If you don't know where Syracuse, New York is, which is where Syracuse University is located, Syracuse is basically on the border of Canada and New York. So it's up there, and if you don't know, I'm from Georgia. I'm from the South. I'm used to 100-degree weather in the summer with 100% humidity. I have only seen in total maybe 9 inches of snow in my life. And that wasn't all at once. The most I've ever seen at once is 4 inches. Can you imagine a freaking blizzard? I can't. Everything shuts down with half an inch of snow here. I can't imagine driving through that kind of stuff. Like, what? So I ultimately said no to Syracuse and the money they were offering me. They were the only school to offer me any sort of scholarship package, which really sucks, but that just goes to show you how much COVID has affected the landscape of academics. A lot of these schools don't have funding right now because of COVID. COVID took a lot of that funding away. So that really sucks for us students who kind of rely on funding like that. But those choices left me with Georgia Southern, Belmont, and American University. I did have to interview with both Belmont and American University. Now on the application page, like on the program page for American University, they did not say that they required an interview. I actually received an email from the director of the program saying that he liked to do an interview with all applicants. It's just an informal one, just to get to know us a little bit better. And I remember telling my parents it would have been nice if he had mentioned this on the website so that we could have known. I almost didn't do it, but at the last minute I chose to do it. American University really wasn't on my radar. I had no interest in going to DC. I have visited DC, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it. Like, I visited New York City, fell in love with New York City. I visited Nashville. I love Nashville. I visited Washington, DC, and it was kind of meh. It wasn't the best, but it also wasn't the worst. It just was kind of there. So American really wasn't on my radar, but I did the interview anyways, and ultimately the entire interview with American University, he was, I don't even remember his name, but he was very, yeah, these other schools are great, but ours is better. We offer all of these organizations that you can join. We have all of these networks. This is where all of our graduates have gone. You would do amazingly here. And it was basically huge ego. And he was really cold with me. And when he asked if I had any questions and I said no, he said, okay, that's a little weird. And personally, how my personality is and how my mind works is I don't formulate any questions if I don't know anything. And quite honestly, I didn't really know that much about the school or that program, but I knew the program was good and I knew the school was good. Basically, all of the research that I had done was on these websites, and all of everything that I knew, that I had known going into this interview, was what could be found on these websites. And I looked on Reddit, and I had knowledge from Reddit. I didn't have any questions based off of what was told to me. I have to actually get there, use the knowledge that I have, and then questions usually arise from then. But I don't usually have questions right off the bat. I never do. My mind literally does not work that way. So for him to say that was a little weird made me feel even more not welcomed. Meanwhile, when I interviewed with Belmont University, Dr. Bulla was extremely welcoming and warm and inviting, and I didn't have any questions for him either, I don't think, and he was perfectly okay with that. And ultimately, I felt more at home with Dr. Bulla and Belmont University than I did with American University and whatever that guy's name was. So it ultimately became a decision between Belmont University and Georgia Southern University. Now, did the guy from American University get in my head a little bit? Yes, of course he did. He did a great job with that. He made me really think about what my future could hold if I attended American University, and I liked the opportunities, but I could get the exact same opportunities from a different school like Belmont University for cheaper, because if you have not looked at American University's prices or the cost of living in DC, it is astronomical. Now, Nashville itself is horrendous, Belmont is horrendous, but American University and DC is probably about 20 times worse. So ultimately I said no to American University and moved on. And this is when it really got difficult for me, was to make a choice between Belmont University and Georgia Southern University. Now, I'm an in-state student in Georgia. I would be considered an in-state student, so my tuition would be pretty low for Georgia Southern. I also received an email from the director of bands asking me to be a graduate assistant for them. So that would have offered me full tuition covered as well. And I had found a really great apartment for really cheap there. I would not have been able to bring Milo though because of their declawing policies. Luckily, like, my mom offered at that point that if I needed to attend one of these schools and an apartment would not allow him to be there without declawing, she would be able to watch him throughout the duration of my program. So Milo will be perfectly fine with either choice that I decided to make. So I was able to take him completely out of the decision-making process. I hope I'm making that clear. Milo became not an important factor in my decision. Hope that is worded a little bit better. Cost of living, tuition, everything was significantly cheaper at Georgia Southern. Belmont, on the other hand, very expensive rent. Belmont is also pretty expensive. It is a private Christian university. However, the program does not focus so much on religion, like, at all. Focuses mainly on skill and knowledge in the industry. With this program, they don't care if you're poor, if you are a minority group. They don't care if you are in the LGBTQIA+ community. They don't care if you are Hindu. What they care about is if you have skills and knowledge in the industry and can prove yourself in it, and can be an addition to the program, and also the program can be an addition to you. So that I really liked. I don't like the administration at Belmont University. I don't think anyone does, because they're bad people. Let's just leave it at that. But the program itself is really, really great. I have some loud neighbors. Anyways, I ultimately had to make a choice, and the biggest factor for me in making this decision was Georgia Southern was a very new program. So new, in fact, that at the time of filming this, there is not a graduate yet from this program. Now, in a couple of weeks, there may be a graduate, because the University System of Georgia, none of their graduations have happened yet. I think that all starts next week, which is around the time that this will be posted. So none of that has happened yet. So technically there are no graduates of any program right now in Georgia. Because we don't know the outcome of the programs, we don't know how the job outlook is for these graduates, and we also don't really know, like, it's not, like, the program itself is not well known in the industry yet. When I did the interview with American University, the guy made it clear that he did not even know Georgia Southern had a program, and because of how new it was, he couldn't say whether or not it would be a good decision. And he is in the industry, which, if he doesn't know about it when he's interviewing other students for this program, then there's a good possibility that a lot of these major companies who hire students out of these programs will know about Georgia Southern either. And ultimately, that became my biggest decision factor, is what is my future going to look like after graduating from Belmont University versus what is my future going to look like after graduating from Georgia Southern University. And looking over the networking opportunities, as well as, like, job outlook after graduation, and just overall establishment in the industry, Belmont University became a much clearer choice. So even though I am going further into debt with Belmont University because they are not offering any funding because of COVID, I do think Belmont University will give me the best chance at getting a very good high-paying job, as well as just better job prospects. So with that being said, I will be moving to Nashville, Tennessee in August of 2021, where I will be continuing my education for a Master of Science degree in audio engineering. I am super excited to begin this journey. I have already signed a lease at an amazing apartment. It is not in downtown Nashville, it is outside Nashville, because, like I said, rent is horrendous in Nashville. but this place is pretty cheap, so I will be moving there. I also have already spoken to my mom about Milo, and Milo will be staying with my mother starting next year, which makes me extremely sad because he's my best friend. He's my fur child. He is my emotional support. Every single time that I cry, he wants to cuddle and lick all of my tears off of my face. And I love him dearly, and I am so going to miss him. Like, I'm already crying just thinking about it. Sorry, I just had to recompose myself and dry my tears off of all my shirt. So I am not looking forward to having to hand Milo off to my mother for 2 years. However, I am excited to see what opportunities Belmont will bring me, as well as Nashville, the music capital of the world. So I'm super excited. I also just had a job interview today with a television station in Nashville, Tennessee, because I do have experience as a master control operator here in Tuscaloosa from my on-campus employment with WB-Ray23. I have applied and interviewed at this one location. I don't know if I will get in because I will be a grad student and my class schedule can sometimes conflict with work schedules. He'll figure that out if he chooses to hire me. But in other life events besides graduation and this job interview and choosing a graduate program, I have also officially been diagnosed with ADHD. I was diagnosed early to mid-April, just a couple of weeks ago. I am on medication now. My doctor thought it was highly recommended that I take medication just because of how my QB test results came back and just the ADHD questionnaire that he had me take. Just from those results alone, he was like, yeah, you need medication. So I am testing out medication. I do have an appointment with him later on this month to see if we need to change anything. But so far so good. I haven't had any major side effects from it. And it has helped me a little bit. I don't know how much because quite honestly, I am tired. Just from this past semester, my body is like dead. But yeah, I'm excited to see where my next chapter will hold. I'm very sad to be leaving Tuscaloosa, leaving this apartment, and leaving the University of Alabama and the School of Music there. They have been amazing, and I love this school, and I love the School of Music. So if you do ever decide to apply to the School of Music here at Alabama, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Everyone is so nice and genuine and supportive, and I have never, not once, felt unwelcomed at the School of Music. Moody became my home, and I knew I could literally talk to anyone in that school if I ever needed. Student, faculty member, anyone, if I needed it, and they would be 100% supportive at all given times. So I am very sad to see me leave. I'm very sad to see it go, but I'm very excited to see where Belmont will take me. With that being said, I will be continuing to do vlogs next year on my vlog channel for college, and I also will be continuing college videos on this channel, and I also will be throwing in other content as well, such as gaming and ADHD once I've lived in it. Well, technically I've lived in it my entire life, but lived in the diagnosis and learned more about it. I will eventually be posting ADHD content as well, because those are the 3 main things in my life right now. I love you guys, and I will talk to you all very, very soon. Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment for engagement and all of those things, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, y'all.